Hi guys. Okay, we are working on lesson 5-1B. This is where we are using the vertex of our parabola and 1 point to figure out the equation for the parabola. I've got Nathaniel here. He's going to help me out as we go along, okay? All right, first of all, I went ahead and put a picture of the graph up here. And let's try to identify our vertex and some points on that graph that we might use, okay? All right, let's first start out. Let's find our vertex right there, or right about there, let's say. Okay, and then our other points on our graph that we can identify. There's one at the crossbars there. One there at the crossbars. There's one here. And one right about there. Okay. All right. So we have our vertex. Okay. Oops, let me get that into red. There we go. Okay, there's our vertex. Nathaniel, what is my vertex? What's that at?
2, 3.
Okay, my vertex is at 2, 3. Okay. And then let's look. Nathaniel, we've got some other points on here. What points did you use in your equation? What point did you pick out of these 4 points?
I chose 1, 4.
You chose 1, 4. Okay, so this one right here, 1, 4. So he used the point 1, 4. Okay. Now, remember that this is going to be our H. This will be our K. And then we will use our extra point for our X and our Y. Okay. Nathaniel, what's the formula that we used?
Y equals A, parentheses, X minus H, close parentheses, 2 plus K.
Okay, squared.
Squared.
Plus K. Good. All right, so we're going to take our H and our K, and we're going to plug it into our formula for H and K. We'll take our X and our Y, plug it in for X and Y in our formula. Let's change it to another color here. Okay, so Y equals A times X minus H squared plus K. All right, so for our H, come on, I may need to make that a little bit bigger. Okay. My H is what?
2.
My H is 2. Okay. And my K. What's my K, Nathaniel?
3.
3. Alrighty. And then let's change colors again. Back to my blue. And what's my X?
1.
So X is 1. And my Y, what's my Y?
4.
4. Okay. Nathaniel, what's the first step we did in solving for our A? It's for solving for A.
You subtract the numbers into parentheses.
Okay. So we're going to do 4 is equal to A times 1 minus 2 is what?
1. Yeah.
1 minus 2 is
-1.
-1. Good job. Okay, -1 squared plus 3. Okay, then my next step was what?
To times the -1 by
The exponent?
exponent, yes.
Yeah, okay, so we can do that first. So 4 is equal to, what is -1 squared?
-1.
Try again. Don't use your calculator. Remember, whenever we have squares, my answers are always going to be positive because we have a negative times a negative. So that means that it's always going to be positive because a negative times a negative can't equal a negative. Okay? So that's going to end up being a what?
Positive 1.
Positive 1. Okay, so we have positive 1a plus 3. All right, then what do I do?
Subtract the 3.
Subtract the 3 from both sides. So we end up with 1 is equal to a. All right. Now, final equation here. Y is equal to, a is 1. So 1, when it's in the a position, if it's not a 1, we would put the number. But if it's a 1, then it's just understood to be a 1, so I don't have to write that down. So I'm not going to write that down. I'm just going to put x minus, and then what's my vertex? My h is 2 squared, and then my k is 3. So my final answer for number 13 is y is equal to x minus 2 squared plus 3. All right, we're going to move on to number 20. Nathaniel and I have sat here and discussed. I don't want to do everything for you on the homework, but we're going to do half of them. So we did 13. We're going to do number 20 because Nathaniel feels like maybe that half in the vertex might give some of you a little bit of trouble. And then we're going to do number 24. Okay? All right, so let's look at number 20. First, we have a vertex that is 1/2. Let's just go ahead and change that to 0.5. 0.5 and 1. And then we have a point. Come on. I'll get this to right yet. Maybe. Oh, well, you know there's a point on top of that. Ooh, come on, come back here. It is not cooperating all of a sudden. There we go. Okay, my point is at 2, -8. Okay, sorry about all that confusion. Okay, remember my vertex is going to be what letters, Nathaniel?
H and K.
H and K. And my point is going to have what? My second point?
X and Y.
It's going to have our X and our Y. Okay? Okay, write out. Remind them again about what our formula is.
Y equals a parentheses X minus H squared plus K.
All right, good job. Okay, let's go back in here. For my H, what is my H?
0.5.
0.5. Okay. And then my K. What's my K?
1.
1. Okay. And then my X. My X is what?
2.
2. And my y is?
-8.
-8. All right, good deal. Okay, so now let's take a look here. We've got -8 is equal to a times 2 minus 0.5 would give me what?
1.5.
1.5 squared plus 1. Okay, let's go ahead and get this plus 1 over here out of the way before we do our squaring this time, okay? So let's subtract the 1 from both sides. So we end up with -9 is equal to, now what is 1.5 squared?
2.25.
2.25a. Okay, good. Okay, oops. Whoa, what did I just lose? Oh, I lost the tip. There we go. Now, how am I going to get a by itself, Nathaniel?
By dividing 2.25.
Okay, I'm going to divide by 2.25. Okay, so divide by 2.25. What is -9 divided by 2.25?
-4.
-4?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good deal. That makes it easy. Okay, so let's write out our final equation now. Let's get a different color here. Let's go with red. Okay, so my final equation is y is equal to, my a is what?
Your a is -4.
-4 times x minus what?
0.5.
0.5 squared plus
1.
1. There's my final answer. Good job, Nathaniel. Alrighty. We are going to look at number 24. That's our word problem, and this is about the rocket. Let's just read it real quick. Or Nathaniel, you read it for me.
Okay. The diagram shows the path of a model rocket launched from the ground. It reaches a maximum altitude of 384 feet when it's above a location 16 feet from the launch site. What quadratic function models the highest of the rocket?
All right. Function are we looking for that models this rocket? Okay. Let's first find our vertex. Our vertex is up here at the top. Oops, come on. Up here at the top. There we go. So that's our vertex. And our vertex okay, Nathaniel, what did you say? What would you say our vertex is?
It's 16 and 384.
Right. Okay. It's 16. That's my x. Remember, because that's how it goes along the side. That's my x. And then my height is what goes up. So that's 384. That's my y. Okay. So that's going to give us our h and our k for our equations. Okay. Now, we need one other point somewhere on this graph. And there's two places where we can easily find some other points. Right here. Oops, come on. Right here and right here. So at the beginning, when we're at, oops, let's do a little too thick there. Okay, this is at 0, 0. And then over here at the ending, at the landing site where it's 32, 0. Nathaniel, which one do you think we might want to work on? Which one do we want to use?
0, 0.
Okay, let's use 0, 0. That'll work. Okay, so we're going to use this point right here with our vertex up here. Okay, again, y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Okay, and oh yeah, we're going to use our extra point over here. Our point is 0, 0. That is our x and our y. Okay. So let's do some substitution here. Let's substitute for our h and our k. What's my h?
16.
My h is 16. My k is
384.
384. Okay. My y, or not my y, but my x to begin with is what?
0.
0. And my y is what?
0.
That's also 0. All right. Good deal. So we have 0 equals a times 0 minus 16 squared plus 384. Let's get that 384 out of the way. Let's go ahead and move that over. So I have negative 384 is equal to a times, what's 0 minus 16?
Negative 16.
Negative 16 squared. Okay, so that's 384 times, or negative 384 is equal to, what's negative 16 squared?
256.
256a. And Nathaniel, what do I do to get rid of my 256 and get a by itself?
Divided by 256.
Okay, divide it by 256. Okay, and that leaves me with a is equal to what, Nathaniel?
Negative 1.5.
Negative 1.5. So our final answer is what, Nathaniel?
Y equals negative 0.5.
Negative
1.5.
1.5. Yeah, you said 0.5.
Oh, sorry.
Negative 1.5 times
x minus 16 squared plus 384.
All right. Good job. Thanks for your help. I appreciate it.
No problem.